What is up? It is Austin here, bringing you guys another video. And can you believe Resident Evil is over 25 years old? Now, I'm making this video because you guys know me. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. It's like one of my favorite video game series of all time. It might be my favorite video game series of all time. And I like to do Resident Evil videos here and there. You know, I did one about the Resident Evil 4 remake, but today I want to talk about the future of Resident Evil, the mainline series. So I know we have Resident Evil 4 remake confirmed. That's coming, which is great. I'm super excited for that. But I want to talk about Resident Evil 9 because there's been a lot of discussion about Resident Evil 9 lately. And there's been some leaks, and I'm going to go over a little bit of the leaks, but I'm not going to go over all of them. So let's just jump right into it. Resident Evil recently is taking quite the different direction in terms of the mainline games. Resident Evil 6 was the game-changing game, right? Resident Evil 6 came out, and fans just were very split on it. I know some people love Resident Evil 6. Some people, like myself, were disappointed with it. I don't hate the game. I think there's some good in it, but I'm not a fan of the game. And Resident Evil 7 was like a return to form. And Resident Evil 7 is one of my favorite games in general. It's very scary, very atmospheric. I love it. I still play it to this day. Fantastic game. So Resident Evil 7 changed course for the series, brought it back to its horror roots. And then we got Resident Evil 8 Village, another game that I love. I still think 7 is better than 8, but 8 continued the story of 7. It had a lot of the same horror vibes, but it also had a little bit more emphasis on action in it. And the story kind of went a little bizarre, where 7 was a lot more contained, a lot smaller scale of a story. 8 kind of expanded everything. Now, we had a huge cliffhanger in Resident Evil 8, and that's when we found out that the BSAA was using BOWs. And there is speculation that that will be in the DLC that we're getting for Resident Evil 8. I don't know if they're going to include that. I think it'll just be mentioned maybe. But if it leads into Resident Evil 9, I want to talk about the leaks, because the leaks, I think, are a little bit different than, the ending of 8. So, the end of 8, Chris says they're going to Europe, to the BSAA headquarters. The leaks for 9 suggest that the game takes place in a Midwestern ghost town. And very interesting, in my opinion. Again, take all the leaks with a grain of salt, but these are leaked by people that have successfully leaked a lot of information in the past. And Resident Evil, Capcom isn't the best at keeping secrets. We knew Resident Evil 4 remake was happening like a week after Resident Evil 3 remake came out, So, again, take everything with a grain of salt, but I think there's some merit in these leaks. Now, Resident Evil 9, like I said, is rumored to take place in a Midwestern ghost town starring Chris Redfield and Leon Kennedy. Now, we haven't seen Chris and Leon in the same game together since Resident Evil 6. Hell, we haven't seen Leon in a mainline game since Resident Evil 6. He was absent in 7 and in 8. Chris was the only OG character to make an appearance, although Ada was supposed to be in Resident Evil 8, but she was cut. So that would be an interesting team-up. I think that's a team-up that fans have wanted for a very long time. But I'm going to say I would prefer if it was a little different. Me personally, I would love to get Claire and Leon in the same game, because Claire has not been in a mainline Resident Evil game since Resident Evil 2, which is kind of crazy to think about. And it sucks because she was supposed to be in Resident Evil 6, but she was cut. Now, I know she's been in a lot of the other games. I know Code Veronica, it is technically a mainline series game, although it's not labeled as one. So she is in Code Veronica, and then Revelations 1 and 2 are canon, and they are important, and she is the star of Revelations 2. But we haven't seen Claire in a while, so personally, I would love to see another Claire and Leon game, but I don't see that happening, especially if you watched Resident Evil Infinite Darkness on Netflix, which is canon to the games as well. But, Chris and Leon would be, I think, probably one of the most popular team-ups ever for the Resident Evil series. They were not in the same campaign in Resident Evil 6, but they both had their own campaigns for Resident Evil 6. So, there's a lot going on. I'm just very curious. My personal prediction for the future of Resident Evil, in my opinion, I would say that the Midwestern ghost town, I could see them doing that. I really could. Do I think it's going to star Chris and Leon? Personally, I don't, but I could see them bringing Leon back, especially if Resident Evil 4 remake is super popular, like everyone is assuming it's going to be. So, very interesting. I'm excited for the future of Resident Evil. I know people shit on the new movies and the new Netflix series. I liked Welcome to Raccoon City. I like the Netflix series. I love Resident Evil Village. I loved Resident Evil 7. I love the remakes of 2 and 3. So I've liked most of what they've done in recent years. So I'm very interested to see where Capcom takes the series. And I have faith in them. You know, this is one of the few consistently good game series, in my opinion. I mean, they haven't had a bad game, in my opinion, since Resident Evil 6. But anyways, that's going to be the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Help me on the road to 650 subscribers. If you want more Resident Evil content, let me know in the comment section down below. Where do you see the future of Resident Evil going? I'd love to hear what everybody has to say. But anyways, that's the end of the video. I appreciate everybody who's watching, and I will see you guys next time. This is Austin, and I am out. Peace, guys.